This is Paweł Głowacki speaking from Embarcadero office in Amsterdam. I welcome you on this Building Mobile Apps for iOS and Android from One Codebase with Delphi webinar. It's probably the longest title of the webinar I ever did, but that's actually the whole clue of this presentation. My name is Paweł Głowacki. I'm working for Embarcadero as sales consultant. I'm based here in Amsterdam, but I'm coming from Poland. So my English is not native English, but it's English made in Poland. So I hope it's going to be understandable to all of you online today. So today I'm going to run the presentation in the series of the why upgrade to RAD Studio Enterprise. And here is a quick matrix of different versions of RAD Studio that contains Delphi and C++ Builder. And this is the second webinar demonstrating some of the features that are available in the Enterprise editions and are not available in a professional or earlier editions. So last week we were focusing on building, actually not last week, but last time, 3 weeks ago, we were focusing on building multi-tier enterprise applications. This week we are going to focus on building mobile applications with RAD Studio, Delphi, and C++ Builder. So this capability of building mobile applications is available out of the box in the Enterprise and the Architect editions of RAD Studio, Delphi, and C++ Builder. And it's also available for professional users, but you need to have an additional mobile add-on pack. So yeah, so this is the slide that I'm showing on all of those presentations in this series. So today we are going to focus on multi-device development with FireMonkey. The other reasons why you would want to upgrade to Enterprise would be building database applications. So that's something that I'm going to discuss in the last webinar in this series in about 4 weeks from now. Also, in the Enterprise version, you have a possibility to model your data with built-in design patterns. So this is something that is only available in Enterprise, and you cannot have any add-on to get this functionality. But today we are going to focus on multi-device development with FireMonkey. So yeah, so this is I'm going to focus today on Delphi because that's my environment, but it's everything that I'm going to discuss today is also applicable to developing applications with C++ Builder, which is available either standalone or as part of the whole RAD Studio product. So yeah, RAD Studio is a very exciting environment. So I'm not sure about your background. So I hope there are some people that are brand new to RAD Studio today online, or I'm expecting some of you were using Delphi and RAD Studio and C++ Builder for many years now. So still RAD Studio and Delphi and C++ Builder is an outstanding product on the market that have some of the capabilities that other environments does not have. So probably the biggest feature, and that's a main focus on this webinar today, is a possibility to build cross-platform native applications. So there are other ways of building applications. So first of all, we have different kinds of applications. So applications can be running on your mobile phones. So that's applications for Android, for iOS, maybe for some other mobile platforms. There are also applications running on a traditional desktop platform. So these are Windows, Mac applications, but there are also web applications or server-side applications. So there are different ways and technologies to build those applications. You can have a managed application. So these are applications built with environments like Java or .NET, where you have a software computer emulated on your regular hardware. So that's especially popular on the server side. But on the client side, the mainstream applications, or the best technical way of building applications is to create a natively compiled applications or programs that natively executes on a underlying operating system and underlying CPU architecture. So this means Intel architecture on a desktop and primarily architectures that are running on mobile devices are not necessarily Intel. So that could be other types of mobile chips. So it's important that, and probably the biggest thing is that when you install RAD-Studio, when you install Delphi or C++ Builder, out of the box you get a number of compilers that you can use to compile your source code. So from the very same source code, you can natively compile your applications to different operating systems. So this means that RAD-Studio itself, or Delphi itself, is a Windows application. So you need to have Windows to install Delphi or RAD-Studio. And those compilers are also implemented as a Windows command line applications, but the output of those compilers are just binary files that cannot be executed on Windows, but they can natively execute it on different platforms. So if we compile for example, for Mac or for Android or iOS. So in case of Android, we would get an APK file that can be just installed and executed on Android. Or in case of iOS, we would have an IPA file that can be installed and executed on iOS. So right now we are just very close to the release of the new version of RAD-Studio. In this presentation, I'm still using the current RAD-Studio 10.1 Berlin release, but we are very close to the releasing the next major version of RAD-Studio 10.2, that is going to also support Linux. So there will be an additional compiler for generating Linux 64-bit executables from programs written in Object Pascal language. So that's really a big thing, and if this is a common requirement, especially on the mobile development side, to support multiple different targets. So if the customer comes to you as a developer and he just wants to have a mobile application, and then this typically means going into the details that it would be nice to have for both the iOS and Android. So in other environments like Xcode from Apple, then you can only target iOS and also Mac in this case, but you cannot target Android. If you want to do Android, you typically want to go into the tools like Android Studio from Google, where you can only target Android. And if you are after the Windows development, you typically use Microsoft Visual Studio. But this just gives you a subset of all the targets that you as a developer want to target. You want to target all of them, and that's what RAD-Studio gives you. So you can create your application once, design your beautiful user interfaces, and natively compile it to all supported platforms. And not only that you have support for building executables, but there is also a library of hundreds of reusable classes and components that you can use to implement your applications. So yeah, so that's the key thing is the building multi-device development, multi-device applications with FireMonkey library. So as part of RAD Studio, there are two main application types that you can build. So you can build a VCL forms application. So this is an application that was there since Delphi 1 and C++ Builder 1. So with VCL, you can only compile such a project for Windows 32-bit or Windows 64-bit. But if you create your new application as a multi-device application, then you have a choice of targeting all of the supported platforms just by changing the target platform in the project manager. You can effectively change the compiler that the IDE is going to use for compilation of the project that is currently active in the IDE. So that's probably the best thing that you can get. But also just the plain possibility to build applications with just compile application would not be enough. So RAD Studio goes much further, and you have a sophisticated forms designer. So this the nickname for this technology is Fire UI, so Fire User Interface, where you can quickly build different user and interfaces for different platforms, and also specifically targeting a certain form factor, orientation, and platform. So yeah, so that's internally, if you look from a technical perspective, how this magic is possible. So that's a high-level view of on the FireMonkey architecture, and FireMonkey internally is using the 3D APIs that are available on different platforms. And currently, even though we are now introducing support for Linux in the next big RAD Studio release, this support is only going to be on the server side, so you won't be able to build graphical user interfaces. So this illustration just focuses on what is possible for building of cross-platform user interfaces right now. So you can just from the same source code. So you have on the top level of this graphics, you have either a C++ builder or Delphi application. So this means some custom code implemented in either C++, 11 standard or Object Pascal language. And this code can use abstractions or types provided by the FireMonkey library. So the FireMonkey library is what you use in your application code. So all the abstractions, all the types that you manipulate in your applications are then implemented differently on different platforms. So for example, if you are implementing your applications, for example, a 3D application, also a regular 2D application on Windows, then effectively you are going to compile your application in such a way that it is going to call into the DirectX APIs on Windows platform. If you compile the very same application for Mac, then those abstract calls that you do from your application in your language will be translated into the OpenGL calls, and the same application compiled for mobile targets is going to use the OpenGL ES version of the OpenGL APIs, and that's going to work in the same way on iOS and Android. So that's the key, and in fact, FireMonkey was designed not really for building high-performance games, but for building a regular business applications, enterprise applications, line of the business applications. So there are different controls like buttons, like combo boxes, list views, and so on. But internally, they are implemented using technologies coming from 3D games. So there are effects, there are animations, there are layouts, And so this architecture, even though it's saying 3D graphics architecture, is also applicable for rendering just a regular 2D typical graphical user interfaces with standard controls that we know from using software applications. Okay, so next step is actually going into the building the actual user interfaces. So user interfaces, first of all, they are on different platforms, but then on every platform there is a big number of different form factors and different devices that you want to support. So if you create a new FireMonkey application, multi-device application, then you are in the form designer, and this form designer gives you a possibility to create different specific views for specific devices. So when you create an application, you have a built-in master view, but you can create derived views that are specific for a given form factor and given size of the application. So that's a cool thing, and maybe that's a good moment that to show this capability instead of talking about it. So I'm going to go for a file new multi-device application Delphi, and I'm going to maybe create something that is already pre-built, so we have something nice to show. So I'm going to demonstrate the master detail template. So it asked me to save the application somewhere, so I'm going to save it somewhere. So that would be master detail Delphi. Okay, and select it out of the box. So that's my application, and that's how the environment looks like. So first of all, on the right hand side we can see there is a project manager, and in the project manager we can select a target. So right now I'm running on Windows, so if I select Android I would need to have a connected device. In fact, what I have right here is the iOS device, is my iPhone that is connected to my Mac. So yeah, that's typical. Yeah, maybe a few words about the configuration that I'm running on. So if you want to target Windows, yeah, you just need to have a Windows machine, and that's the requirement that you need to have always when you use RAD-Studio, because RAD-Studio and Delphi or C++ Builder are Windows applications. So you need to have any of the supported Windows platforms. I'm running on Windows 10, but I'm running inside of the virtual machine because I want to target also Mac and also iOS. I really need to have a Mac machine. So I could have two physical separate machines, one Windows machine because that's where I need to have RAD-Studio installed. But if I want to target iOS or Mac, I need to have a Mac machine. So Mac machine because it's a Mac machine, and iOS because that's the only way I can deploy application to iOS is through the Mac machine. So on the Mac machine, there is a certain small program called PA server, platform assistant server, that works in conjunction with the IDE. So when I click on run from Windows, it will contact with this PA server and deploy application to my connected iOS phone. So yeah, so that's what I have here, and yeah, coming back to this example and talking about the form designer. So you can see here that I'm in a virtual machine, VMware Fusion. That's the technology I'm using, and I have a Windows 10 64-bit machine with a anniversary update, and I'm running RAD-Studio 10.1.2, which is an update to anniversary addition to Berlin. So that's a demo application. I can compile it, for example, for 64 for 64-bit Windows. So when I click on different target platforms, I'm effectively changing the compiler that this machine is going to use. So I can take this application and just click on run. So this project will be compiled and run on, in this case, on a Windows machine. So I can, this is a demo of a different contacts information, and that's actually something I want to show, the non-visual components. That's a relatively new feature to hide and show all non-visual components. And you might be actually thinking where this sample data is coming from, and it's coming from this prototype bind source component that is derived from a T data set and can pretend to be a data set and generate some sample data for designing user interfaces. So this application here is designed right now for, it looks like Windows, and here it is. I can preview this as a Windows application. That's a built-in style, and I can also see how this application is going to look on Mac, and I can also see how this application is going to look on iOS, and how it's going to look on Android. So this is a very useful feature, because when I compile my application for a given platform, it's going to look differently, and that's a feature of FireMonkey library, that it has some built-in styles. So even though the architecture is independent from the platform, but you really want to look your components in a certain way on a given platform. So if I don't do anything with styles, I can quickly see how the application is going to look like on a given platform. So for example, I can go for iOS, and that's how it's going to look like. But then if I just recompile this application, I would see it running differently on different targets. So here I have also, so this is a so-called a master view. Maybe quickly let's save this application and have a look into the source code. So already, because I have gone for a template, I have a number of different components already on the form with a very little code, just to hide the multi-views, which is this menu on the left-hand side. But I can also create a derived view. So this, if I go for example, I want to create my special version of this application that will be optimized, let's say, for the Android 5 phone. So the designer will create an inherited view for me that will be, so right now I don't see a possibility to change the built-in style, because right now I'm using an Android style, and I see that this is exactly the Android 5 phone. So on this view, I can actually make some changes. For example, I want to adjust the sizes of components, or do something in this respect. Maybe I just want to, okay, probably this is aligned to client, so I can change alignment maybe to top, just for a demo. So in this example, so in this form, and this memo is aligned to the top. So this is important. If I now save this and right click again on the source code, notice that I have got this new line that tells me there is one more form file generated for me for this application. So that's a quite sophisticated and very powerful technology, where you can design your application in such a way that you can truly support multiple devices. So maybe if we just right click in the project manager and select show in an explorer, we can see that we have now different files that makes up our application. So we have so master detail, and master detail is so this is a source file. So that's the Pascal file, if you like. But there are different form files. So there is a regular master detail form file. So this is the file with the FMX extension, and there is this one extra file with some extra addition to its name, which is also a form file. So maybe we can have a quick look into how those files look like. So I can go to the to the master view. I can right click just to preview the contents of the FMX file. And this is a standard FireMonkey FMX file. The one thing that may be surprising for those coming from the VCL background is that all numbers like size of the form, positions of different components are not integer numbers but real numbers, and that's the beauty of the FireMonkey platform. But otherwise it looks like a regular form file. So let's switch back to the form view, and let's have a look into this inherited form. So right now I can right click on it and view as text, and this is a different form. So now I see there is an, instead of object, I see inherited. So this file contains all the changes to what is inherited from the main form. So we have a big object, but this is one change that I have done to the memo. So I have aligned it to top. So if I would remove this alignment and align back to client, I would not see anything here. So this is a quite sophisticated technology for visual form inheritance, where you can design your applications once. Let's make this experiment and go back to verify that it really has disappeared. So now you see the memo does not have a changed in inherited alignment. So this is a quite sophisticated technology, and really can make you very powerful in designing cross-platform user interfaces. So yeah, let me quickly jump back to the presentation, and yeah, that's one thing is that we can natively compile for different platforms, but then on every platform we can specifically build a user interface that are designed for a certain form factor and for a certain device, and also for the orientation. So yeah, so that's unique capability of RAD-Studio, Delphi, and C++ Builder. So I don't think that other tools have this great visual capabilities. Really, this is a big thing, and big differentiator is that you can see how your application is going to look like at design time. In other environments, most of the time you just need to run your application to see how it's going to look like. But with RAD-Studio, with building application with components, visual controls, and visual form designer, even before running application, you can see your application. And in the case of this demo that I showed just a moment ago, you can see even some sample data inside your application. So that's the big thing. And if you want to be successful as a developer, as a programmer, then you can spend time with your customers, people that want you to build applications for them, and you can design your application just on site, just sitting and okay, how we are going to put, do you want to have this button in the top corner of the form? No, I want to have this button on the left corner of the form, and this kind of a discussion. But you will be on the same site in terms of how the resulting application is going to look like. So that's the key thing about RAD Studio. So we have compilers. So there are many different compilers that you can use to compile your source code. There is a form designer that you can use to build and adjust your user interfaces to different form factors and to all kinds of devices. But also the power that comes from mobile development from One Codebase in Delphi and in C++ Builder is the rapid application development, or in other words, building application with components. So we can, out of the box, you get hundreds of pre-built components that comes with FireMonkey and with the VCL library, and also non-visual components like database access components or sensor components, or all kinds of components, not necessarily visual, that make you very productive. So you can just assemble your application like you would have built your application like from Lego bricks. Maybe Lego Technics would be a good metaphor. And this is an open model. So not only that you get a source code of all of those components, and that's a big thing, and that it's not typical, for example, for building Windows applications. Even if you have a reusable controls, you typically don't have a visibility into the very source code. In Delphi, in C++ Builder, you just right click on a name of the type, and you go select find declaration, and you jump directly into the source code that comes with Delphi itself, and you can see how this component or this type was implemented. And this knowledge you can use to create your own components. So there is a big and very healthy ecosystem of third-party components that people are building and sharing with other developers. So you can in Delphi there is this relatively new get it package manager, and I think that's something that is nice to show. So if you go to the tools menu, and in the there is a get it package manager, and that's the way to actually extend your the tool palette from different components for all kinds of things. So we have some open source components, some specific components like for integrating with a certain Internet of Things devices, different component packages. So this is a very powerful thing, that not only you get those hundreds of components that are installed out of the box, but you can also get sample programs and component packages directly from inside of the IDE. If you want to install something, you can quickly go for it. I'm not going to do it because it may take some time, but it will. If I would select one of these packages, I would just download them, compile them, and install in one go. And here is a tool palette that comes with many of the out-of-the-box components that we can use for building user interfaces, but also for working with non-visual things, like, for example, working with Bluetooth, working with beacons, adding timers, and maybe processing XML, or building multi-tier applications within a data snap framework that I demonstrated last time, or maybe integrating with services through REST technology, or integrating with Microsoft Azure Cloud or Amazon Cloud, or building database applications using FireDuck technology, or doing all kinds of funny things. So that's a big thing, to be able to use components. So you can create your own components, you can use third-party components, or typically you would use components that are out of the box with Delphi. So all those user interfaces that we are building are are using high performance 3D APIs. So even for rendering simple components like a button or a combo box, you effectively using some shader code running on a graphical processor unit of your mobile phone or your of your desktop application. So that's another cool feature about building applications for multi-device is that some of those components are implementing support for animation and effects. So if you want to build an interesting, visually stunning user interfaces, you can use some of the effects components, like almost 100 effects components and animations for changing different types of values over time with your application. So that's something you can apply very easily in your application, and that's something that you can use easily. So one of the demo programs that comes with Delphi is a shader filters. You can find it in the multi-device samples user interface shader filters, and that's a project that demonstrate using all kinds of filters or this demo these visual effects in your applications. And this is very fast and very powerful and can make a big difference in your application. So this is like a test demo that shows applying different visual effects to all kinds of effects. You can magnify things, you can see, even if I'm running this application through GoToWebinar and through internet, you can see that it takes almost no time to apply those effects, and that's something you can do in your application. So that's available for not only for desktop, but also for mobile platforms. So that's something that you may want to do, and building those applications with just effects can add really an extra angle, or your application can be regarded as a sophisticated application and be successful either on app stores that you can put your application, or if you are building your application for a specific client, I'm sure they are going to be happy with those things. So that's how we can transition in all different ways from one image to another, and that's the common thing that we do. So so that's just a demo. This demo is part of the installation of RAD Studio, and you can inspect it how those things has been done. So there are obviously two source and target images here. So they are hidden because we don't want to display them, but they are used in code to apply different effects. And there is some gibberish in comments, but comments are not really important. But looking into this code, you can see how to programmatically use those events, those filters for your applications. Okay, so let's go back here to the presentation. So that's another angle. So we have now, we can create applications for multiple different targets natively compiled. We can design beautiful interfaces for different form factors, also using sophisticated things like effects and animations. And we can also apply custom styles. So that's a powerful thing that on top of the things that we see on the that's probably better slide. on top of the things that we see in applications, we can also use custom styling. And let me jump to another demo. So that's going to be a demo that demonstrate. I can show you where I found this demo. So if you go to the samples in Object Pascal, have a multi-device samples and user interface, and there is a controls demo, and that's a demo project that just demonstrate all kinds of user interface components, but with different styles applied. So for example, here we have a big collection of speed button components. So you can change how these different components looks like through a style lookup property. So for example, here we have a style lookup property. Let me find it in the style lookup. So right from here inside of the object inspector, we can select to apply a different style. So this demo basically has as many speed buttons as there are styles and different lookups applied. And you can also see those styles on different platforms. So you can see that different built-in styles will have different graphics for all kinds of those built-in elements. So that's very powerful. You don't need to, normally in like a VCL, you would have to go into and change the glyph property and load a different button image. Here we have just by changing the style, we can change how the different components looks like. And this is also cross-platform, so we can go from one platform to another. So on top of this possibility, we can also use custom styles. So if you don't do anything with styles, you have styles that comes from FireMonkey library and represents how the latest versions of supported operating systems looks like. So we have right now in Windows, in Delphi or RAD Studio 10.1 update 2, we have a support for all the latest versions of supported operating systems. So we are supporting iOS 10, Android 7 Nougat, macOS Sierra, and Windows 10 Anniversary Edition. So these are all the latest versions of the supported operating systems, also with a graphics in styles that resembles how the user interface are built. But also there is a possibility to add custom graphics. So I can go and apply a custom style by using a stylebook component. So you need to put a stylebook component on the form and double click on this component, and you can load some custom styles. So as part of the installation of RAD Studio in the users public directory, in public documents, there will be an Embarcadero section, and under the Studio you will have different versions in case you have multiple versions of RAD Studio coexisting side by side on the same. And here we have also styles directory. So the FireMonkey styles. So there are also styles, custom styles available for VCL applications, and these are binary files. But here we are using FireMonkey, and we have style files that are just plain FMX, plain text files that looks very much like a FMX file. So you can apply some custom styling, including styling for Windows 10 if you want to change your application to Windows 10. But I'm going to go for maybe some blend style, for example. And here inside of this, there is a style editor. You can quickly preview how the application is going, how different elements of the applications are going to look like. So I can just close this, and it will ask me to save it. Yes, I want to save it. But right now, nothing has changed in the form. And one more thing, this style book can be used to load different styles for different platforms. So I have just loaded a certain style, and for this form to use this stylebook, there is a stylebook property in the object inspector. I need to hook the stylebook I want to use, and the moment I do it, I see that immediately all the different components are now styled differently. So I can actually take this stylebook and change this stylebook component to stylebook blend like this, and I can go ahead and maybe add another T stylebook component and load another style into it, and I would be able to switch between styles. So I can, for example, go for a actually I like this new styles, maybe Ruby graphite style, and that's just another style that I may want to use. So I can save it, yes, and change this stylebook component to be called Ruby graphite style. And if I just go into the form and change the stylebook to point to a different stylebook, I can immediately change how different elements are going to look like using the different structure. And that's very handy. Hide non-visual components. I don't want to see those stylebook components. So that's a big power. And one extra level is that you are not really you are not restricted to the styles that are coming with FireMonkey. You can use this form designer or a standalone form designer in the tools menu. No, I think it's not here, but you can change this and you can modify those components very much, changing all the properties using you can see how this, for example, we can go into the label style and we can see that's just a text, but if we can go to the maybe a speed button style, we can see that it is actually made of some color animations, of some text. There is a glyph for displaying image. So you can go and change the color of the animation or the text or the glyph style, and save this style as your own custom style for using in your application. So that's a very powerful and very open framework where you can create all kinds of visual applications. So you can use built-in styles, you can modify styles, you can use your own custom styles, and it's all rendered very quickly. Also, you can use things like live binding. So this is the way to connect data to visual controls in FireMonkey, but also in a VCL frameworks. So with no code, you can quickly visualize data coming from databases. So there are also 3D forms, and that's something that it's where cross-platform mobile development shines. So far we have been building 2D interfaces, but we can also go and build applications that are displayed in 3D and compiled natively using respective 3D APIs on different platforms. So OpenGL on Mac, DirectX on Windows, or OpenGL ES on Android or iOS. So that's powerful. And I want to show you just one more demo with some 3D code. So that's actually a demo that I have built this week. Last 2 weeks I was on skiing in Austria and having good fun and lots of energy, and I was thinking that what kind of a cool 3D applications I could build. And I thought, let's build an application that could run on that use some 3D models. So this is an application that is using a 2D form. So you can create a 3D applications in two ways. So when you create a new application, so I can actually go ahead. So when you create a new application, you are presented with a application type dialog where you can select a blank application or a 3D application. So the blank application is just a form that is derived from the 2D form or just T-form class. If you go for a 3D application, you would get into the form 3D ancestor. So your main form of the application would be derived from form 3D. But you can still use a traditional form 2D, and you can put on this application, on this form, a viewport. So there is a special component called viewport 3D that you can put, and I have put one viewport 3D on this form and align it to client, so it occupies the whole form. And inside of this viewport 3D, you can put all different 3D components. So there is a 3D shapes that you can use, like planes, cubes, spheres, cylinders. And there is also one special component here, T-model 3D component, that lets you import geometry from one of the third-party graphic modeling software like 3D Max, like Blender or similar 3D modeling packages used, for example, for game development to build 3D worlds, and they typically export into a certain 3D formats. So here I have a model 3D component dropped on the form, and this component has something called mesh collection property. If you open it, actually it does not show anything useful right now, so don't, because it's so big. So you can load from one of the supported file formats. So you can see here there is three different file format: ASE, DAE, and OBJ. So these are the three file formats that this component supports. And I have actually looked into some of the websites. So one of the probably the biggest and the most popular website that you can use to find free and commercial images or geometries is the website, the Turbo Squid. And I found the nice OBJ file that was created probably in Blender, which is an open source 3D development environment. And the license is royalty free, so we can use it for whatever reasons, for example, for this demonstration. And I have loaded this file here, and now I have a model of a 3D helmet. So it does not have any shading. So for this to look better, I need to add light to a camera. So the viewport itself has a dummy component. So dummy component is like a container, non-visual container for other visual components. And I have a camera, which is owned by the dummy camera, and the light component. And inside of other dummy components, so another component container, I have a model 3D component. So this there is also a light material source. So in FireMonkey 3D, the shading model is implemented using materials components. So here we have materials. You can see here on the different materials, you can apply color material, texture material, or light material. For this, to apply this material, I had to write some code. So this is actually this code that normally if I would use a sphere or cylinder, this component has a yeah, you can actually see very quickly if I drop a 3D shape component like for example sphere, and put it on the, for example, in the dummy scene here as well, and then maybe move it a little bit aside to change this to -3 maybe, or -1, or -1.5, so it's still on the form. This component has a material source property that I can use to assign a light material, but in case of the model 3D, I have to do this in code. So I have this code here to iterate through all the meshes in the mesh collection and apply the material source in code. Otherwise, it's a straightforward code for doing just responding to mouse events. So if I move mouse or touch my application on mobile device, it will rotate nicely. So yeah, if I now run this application on Windows, it should look like this. So I have nice visualization of my helmet. And also I have right now connected I have my iPhone connected, so I should be able to show you how this looks like on my phone. So for this, I'm going to use, I hope it's going to work, the reflector application, and deploy this application to iOS. In fact, I have done it already, so I could just click on run, but to save on time, I will just do the AirPlay monitoring, AirPlay, and you should see, I hope, on my phone what's on my phone. And if I I cannot double click here, I need to do it on my phone. If I click on my helmet, I can see the same application actually compiled from the same source code, interactive, on the running on iOS. I have also Android, but just for the sake of demonstration across platform, I think that will be enough. So let me quickly disconnect this sharing of the application. So that was something like this. I need to turn off sending applications, and that's fine. Okay, so yeah, so that's it in terms of the presentation. Now the 1 hour is almost gone. So yeah, I hope that you have enjoyed this mobile cross-platform development for iOS and Android from One Codebase with Delphi webinar today. And yeah, please join me in 2 weeks on the modeling code with Delphi Enterprise. So that's another feature that is only available in the Enterprise edition of RAD Studio. So we are going to look into the different gang of 4 built-in design patterns and create different UML diagrams and see how you can get more productive and you can build stronger code base using design pattern support that is built into Delphi. And in 1 month from now, on 22nd on March, we'll be focusing on building database applications with FireDuck. So that's another feature of Enterprise edition of RAD Studio, Delphi, and C++ Builder, that you can use FireDuck database access framework for working with remote relational and also no relational databases. So for example, one of the new features here is the support for working with MongoDB, the most popular open source NoSQL database that is also accessible through a FireDuck framework. So in the Embarcadero events, if you go to the community embarcadero.com, there is an events page and you can find those upcoming webinars in the events page, and there are links to register. So if you have enjoyed this webinar, please feel free to register for those. They are also on Wednesdays, same time. One is in 2 weeks from now. The second one is in 4 weeks from now. Okay, so thank you very much for watching this this webinar. So that was good to see you online, and I hope that we'll see each other in the upcoming webinars in the future. Okay, have a great time, and I hope that one more thing that I forgot is some of you know how to use the question panes. So let me quickly go through any questions that might be actually entered through the question pane in the GoToWebinar. So the one question from Gernot is about the BD support in FireMonkey. Yeah, that's the old requirement, and we all know that FireMonkey does not support the right to left texts that are very important for markets like in Israel. So this is on the roadmap, but I don't have any target date or release. But definitely that this is something that Embarcadero wants to implement in the future for FireMonkey to have a proper BD support. Okay. Some other comments from Miklos that he cannot hear. I checked that the sound was working, so probably that was just specific to this particular connection. Question from Alf about removing form files. I think that's straightforward. You can just right click and remove any file from your project. And question about the recording. So this webinar has been recorded, and there is also a blog post on my community website. So you can very quickly go to the community website, and we can go to the community Embarcadero, and inside of the community Embarcadero there is this I have put yesterday a blog post to welcome you all to this webinar. So I'm going to edit this blog post, and instead of registration link put here a link to a recorded webinar. Okay, thank you very much for watching, and see you online in about 2 weeks. Thank you very much.